All right, sorry. Part one had to abruptly stop, um, but we're gonna move on with part two of this. The next team up on the list is Seattle Mariners. Um, the Seattle Mariners, yeah, I'm giving them a D. They really didn't do much to help their team at the deadline. They did get Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, and Boston Smith from the White Sox, but Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think, is like over the hill to begin with. The other two guys have potential, but this is a Seattle team that's fighting for a division title. They also acquired Taylor Ward from the Orioles. Again, a nice player, a guy I wouldn't mind the Phillies going after, but not a guy that's going to move the needle. He's not the guy that's going to make the difference in the division, and that's pretty much all Seattle did. So they basically phoned it in at the deadline and just said, look, the guys we have are what we have. And I don't think they're good enough currently configured. They're going to need Cal Riley to really step up in the second half of the season. And they're going to need him to become the guy he was last season. They still have good starting pitching. And addition by subtraction, giving it to Luis Castillo is going to help that rotation just naturally. But yeah, I give them a D. I really did not like what they did at the deadline. I think it puts them behind the eight ball. I think that really makes Texas a much better baseball team than them right now. Makes Houston's a much better baseball team right now. So I think Seattle right now is third in that division, and I think it's sad because they did have a lot of potential to win that division, but I think they needed to add more, and they just really didn't do enough. All right, the Atlanta Braves are up next. Atlanta's getting a C for me. Um, I mean, they did get Lane Thomas, but I mean, Atlanta just kind of instead of going all in with this good baseball team that Atlanta has, they basically just said we're going to stand pat and just dip our toe in. We're not really going to give you much. I don't think the front office thinks they're as good as the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Braves or the Brewers when it comes down to it. So I don't think they felt like it was necessary to really give up a lot of young players. So they just got a bunch of veteran guys to add around what they already have. I mean, Tyler Malley, getting him, okay, a guy who's been thrown like a 6 ERA most of the season. Brett Suter, a left-handed pitcher, who a team who already had like four lefties in the bullpen, was an unnecessary move. Again, Lane Thomas I like, but getting Bailey Falter again, another lefty in that bullpen that they don't really need. This didn't make Atlanta any better. Now they've called a break with the fact that the Phillies started off the second half of the season so badly, and Atlanta got hot in the. But I do anticipate this division to tighten up again in the dog days of August, and Atlanta didn't really get many reinforcements to help their team down the stretch. I do think this division is up in the air, even though it's an 8.5 game lead right now for Atlanta. I do think the division is still going to be up in the air. I think the Phillies are a better baseball team, and I don't think Atlanta did a whole lot to help their chances to win the World Series. So yeah, I give them a C. The Milwaukee Brewers are another team that gets a C for me. This is a team that has World Series potential and really just added around the edges. The Lance McCullers Jr. move they made a couple weeks ago, I actually respect it. I thought I'd take a chance on the guy. He's got a great arm. He's pitched well in the past, pitched in some big games. I saw him pitch in the World Series here against the Phillies, although it wasn't a good night for him. But again, it's guys pitched in big games. The Dustin May and Jojo Romero move. Okay, Jojo Romero I like. I'm never going to hate adding a good left-hander with him, but Dustin May doesn't do anything for me. Dustin May, I think, is a below-average pitcher at this point in his career. I don't think he adds to the rotation, and I don't see it. Getting Antonio Sensatella from the Rockies again, another guy who's pitched to close to a 5 or 6 ERA all season. I really, I mean, what exactly did they do? I think this is a team that if they could have made one big move, could have put them right equally with the Dodgers. That big move may have been Scooble. You're hearing reports that the Dodgers wanted Logan Henderson back in that deal, and I mean the Tigers wanted Logan Henderson back in that deal, and Milwaukee just wasn't willing to pay that price for a guy they probably weren't going to be able to sign. So I understand it. I mean, they got a young, very good, and controllable starting pitcher. They didn't want to give him up for a guy that they're probably going to lose in a couple months and may not win the World Series anyway. But there were other guys out there that I think they could have won after. I think Clay Holmes would have been an option than Dustin May. Um, I definitely think if they could have got Joe Ryan from the Twins, maybe if they made a better offer for him, that could have been interesting. So yeah, Robbie Ray was right there. Casey Mize was right there. None of those guys the Brewers really want to pay the price for. So I don't. I think they got worse than what the Dodgers and Phillies did. So I do conceivably think this deadline makes them the third best team in the National League, and that's not good for them because you only got to face Mizorowski once, and that's even if you have to face him in the playoffs with the way his arm fatigue and all is going. So yeah, I give the Brewers a C. The Pittsburgh Pirates, yeah, I'm going to give them a B. I mean, look, did they make big moves? No, but the Pirates' main problem was the bullpen, and they did try to fix it. I don't like the Camilo Duvall trade. I think he's a below average pitcher. I don't think it's worth the risk in the bullpen. I do love the Andrew Moore trade. I do love the Luke Weaver trade, obviously, from the Mets. And Ron Mauricio, I think, is also a guy I like in their bullpen. So the only move they made that I really didn't like was Duvall. Um, I didn't think that. I think that was an unnecessary move to get him from the Yankees. It's a guy that struggled a lot this season. He struggles throwing strikes. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stake in him late in the game. But again, getting Luke Weaver, also adding Kirby Yates to the back end of that bullpen is pretty good. Got to get some big outs late in the game. Getting Luke Becknar, another relief pitcher from the Marlins. So they've really tried to revamp the whole bullpen at the deadline. And I respect that. Okay, I respect them going all in and trying to put pieces around this team. So I give them a B, and I think they have a semi-legit shot to make a run at a wild card. I don't think they'll get there, but they have a legit shot. The Minnesota Twins, yeah, I'm giving them a C. I mean, the moves they made, they got Tommy Nance, AJ Minter, Dean Kramer, okay. I mean, Jeff Hoffman, all right. Again, added all relief pitchers to a team, I mean, to semi in the race, okay? I mean, every team in the American League seems like they're in the race, so, but why not, instead of dipping your toe in it, why not go get a big name if that's what you wanted to do? Getting a guy like Dean Kramer or AJ Minter doesn't really move the needle. Jeff Hoffman, I think his best days are behind him, but again, I understand taking a risk on him. But if you're going to do all that, get a bigger name. And the Twins didn't do that. I don't think this made them that much better. I don't think it made them threats in the division. Look, they're going to be in the wild card race because most teams are going to be in the wild card race down to the end, so maybe they get hot at the right time. But they're going to need the offense to step up. It's an offense that has struggled most of the season. So, I mean, getting bullpen arms when you really could have used some help in the offense, or maybe another starting pitcher. I don't know. I mean, they did get Dean Kramer, but I mean, really, what does he do? So I'm giving him a C. The Texas Rangers are next on the list, and I'm giving them a D. Again, this is a team that leads the division, has led the division, for the better part of a month. And really all they added was Logan O'Hoppe, a catcher who has struggled, and has a lot of upside. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot of upside, but he has struggled. And two relief pitchers. It's a team that really didn't go all in, and I'm surprised that they didn't. They have a pretty good farm system, so they could have made some moves to get some bigger names. Again, a guy like Clay Holmes could have been good on this team. Freddie Peralta, again, could have taken a chance on him. Robbie Ray, Casey Mize, I'm going to keep using these same names that all these teams passed up on, that they could have helped them in the starting rotation. Luis Arraez, the guy that the Phillies had, they could have easily went and got and added to their lineup. So there was a lot of moves out there on the board that I think Texas could have made that they didn't. So I'm giving them a D, actually, because for a first place team to not make any moves, I really don't respect that, and it doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, the Houston Astros are going to get a C from me. I mean, they really didn't do many moves to move the needle. They basically said, "Look, this is our team. We're gonna fit around the edges some players, and we're gonna see if our team can bring it home." When you have a lineup with Jordan Alvarez in it and Jeremy Pena and guys like that, you're always gonna have a chance to win. But the starting pitching isn't great, so I guess they figured, we're just gonna roll around the edges and see, how much we can get out of this team. So, I mean, adding Dalton Varsho, though, does add to that lineup, and it's a move I like. They did give up Spencer Arrighetti to the Blue Jays, so, I mean, that's a big give up for